If you're like me, you're probably no stranger to Googling your symptoms. You've got some gut issues, maybe you're constipated or bloated or having a reaction to something, and you start Googling. But that kind of leads you down a rabbit hole where you start panicking that you have, serious health issues like bowel cancer or something really scary. Or it leads you in a direction where you're thinking you have to go on some crazy diet to heal your gut. So it's really crucial that you do get informed and you do some research, right? And do some learning when it comes to your gut health. But you have to make sure that you're empowering yourself with knowledge that's actually going to help you and not hinder your healing process. So what do I mean by that? I mean, first of all, trusting a professional like myself who has a degree in nutrition or some related field and a lot of experience in working with clients and knowing how to heal those root causes of gut issues. So we're not just slapping a low FODMAP diet on it. We're not just throwing supplements at it. We're looking at those root causes. And so I think it's really crucial for all of us to get empowered with that knowledge because, as you probably experienced, you go to your doctor and they can't really help, right? Yes, they're going to do their best and rule out other serious illnesses with a bunch of testing, but oftentimes that stuff comes back normal, and then what? Right? So that's when we often start Googling and finding these things like low FODMAP diets and probiotics, and we start trying different things. And sometimes those diets and treatments actually make us feel worse. Sometimes they may help a little bit because they're kind of a band-aid solution, and we may actually get stuck in something like a low FODMAP diet and get more and more and more restrictive. But then we notice over time that we're not actually healing and feeling any better. So I want to empower you with the knowledge you need to understand there's actually deeper root causes that we need to address to heal your gut. And having a super strict diet is not going to be one of the solutions to get you there. So yes, we want to eat as healthy as possible. We want to eat home cooked foods, whole foods, lots of fiber and fruits and veggies, but we don't want to get so obsessed with clean eating that it affects our stress levels, our mental well-being, or it limits our ability to go out and do things like travel or eat dinner with friends. Anyway, so all that to say, I want to share a bit of my journey and share some things with you that you may not realize are actually connected to your gut health, and then what we can kind of do about healing that. So 5 major things I want to touch on today that are actually, you wouldn't probably think that they're gut related issues, but they are. So number 1, cravings, uncontrollable cravings, weight loss or weight gain that's unintentional, brain fog, chronic fatigue, and mood swings or mood issues like anxiety and depression. So all of these I have dealt with at some point in my healing journey. So this is why I'm so very passionate about what I do. Because yes, I tried conventional things like medication and counseling and, different things like that. And yes, they did help me, but I never fully healed and never fully felt myself. It's only when I started addressing these root causes and really taking a more whole person approach, including changing my lifestyle. So not just food and supplements, but lifestyle too. That's when I really started to notice a big difference in my healing. So let's start with cravings. If you have extreme uncontrollable cravings or you start eating something and you feel like you can't stop, that's a sign that there's an underlying imbalance. So it's not that you're weak or have a lack of willpower. There's something biologically driving you to eat that food and to continue eating it. So there's several factors that can contribute to that. One would be lack of sleep, which we'll touch on a little bit today, and how your gut bacteria actually impact your sleep. The second one would be mood or mental health. So if you're feeling down, you're more likely to reach for these indulgent foods and find it harder to stop because it makes you feel good. But in terms of gut health, there's a real impact of your gut bacteria on your cravings and your ability to feel satisfied and actually enjoy a food and feel like you can stop after a regular sized portion, right? So our gut bacteria, I'm not going to explain the science of it, but they actually produce different hormones and communicate with all systems in your body, including your brain, your stomach, and everything. So they're affecting your appetite directly. And that's why you'll notice when your gut is off, your appetite is quite low. It's your body's way of regulating itself, saying, there's something off in here and I probably shouldn't take in a bunch of more food because I can't really handle that right now. I'm trying to deal with this inflammation first. So that's number one. The second one would be weight loss or gain. In my journey, what I struggled with most is unintentional weight loss. So getting quite thin without, yes, at one point I had a restricted diet because I was doing the low FODMAP route and kind of cutting out a lot of foods, which is not good. But throughout everything, I was still eating a good amount of food. So we couldn't figure out why was I losing so much weight and why couldn't I gain any of it back. So my journey, my thing was I had SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. When we have that, most people struggle with, or a lot of people struggle with weight loss because they're not absorbing nutrients properly. You may have low stomach acid, low digestive enzymes, low bile, and a lot of inflammation in the small intestine where absorption takes place. So when that's happening, you're not going to be able to absorb all that healthy food you're eating. So even if you're eating a good amount of food, which a lot of people with SIBO have a lower appetite and feel nauseous and have heartburn and just feel like they can't eat that much food at once. But even if you were to space it out and you're still getting a decent amount of food, you just may not be absorbing it. And interestingly, our gut bacteria actually play a role as the final step in digestion before we have a bowel movement. One of the final steps is our bacteria actually help us harvest calories from foods. So the first step is absorption in the small intestine, which is higher up. The last step is harvesting those last bit of calories from your food. And so if anything is off in there, you're not going to be able to absorb those calories properly. On the other end of the spectrum, if you've got a lot of inflammation, your blood sugar is imbalanced, you're super stressed all the time, and you've got imbalanced gut bacteria, especially if you have constipation, and specific bacteria, including certain microbes called methanogens in your gut, they actually harvest up to 20 to 30% more calories from your food than other bacteria. This is where we could have unintentional weight gain. And you may be someone who you don't get it, right? You're eating a lower carb diet, you're exercising every day, you're doing all the things, but you can't lose an ounce of weight. And it's really frustrating. I totally get that. And this could be one of the reasons. And for some people, it's literally sheerly constipation. So if you are chronically constipated and you feel like you've gained 5 pounds, it literally could be mostly stool. So we really have to get those bowels regulated. Second thing would be, before I dive into brain fog, I want to just end this weight gain part with talking about the gut and thyroid connection. So your thyroid, which sits here, is the master of your metabolism. And the chronic inflammation that bad gut bacteria can cause can dysregulate many hormones in the body, including sex hormones, but also your thyroid. So if your thyroid is off, and a lot of women are developing hypothyroidism, which means lower thyroid function, slow, sluggish metabolism, you're not going to be able to lose weight no matter what you do. So that's where you need to work with a practitioner like myself or your whatever primary care practitioner you're seeing to get your thyroid back in good shape in order to get back to the weight that you want to achieve. Okay, so brain fog is the next one. This is something that's been a huge issue for me in my journey, and for a number of reasons. So it's really common when we have things like SIBO or any kind of what we call dysbiosis, gut bacteria imbalance, because any inflammation in the gut does not just stay in the gut. It enters systemically into the system and actually will cross into the brain. When we have inflammation in the brain, we can't function at peak capacity, right? It's kind of, think of it as a cloud of inflammation. It's clouding your brain function. It's actually directly also impacting your levels of brain chemicals called neurotransmitters. So that's serotonin, dopamine, GABA, norepinephrine, all the different brain hormones that help us focus. They also, as you may be familiar with serotonin, dopamine, for example, they impact our mood, which is what I'm going to touch on as our last bit today. But focusing on brain fog, another factor here with that cloud of inflammation, there's many, many toxins, including things called LPS, D-lactate, histamine, and many others that, again, they're leaving the gut, entering circulation, and triggering inflammation in the whole body and the brain. It's also directly impacting our body's ability, and this kind of brings me to my next one. So chronic fatigue, always feeling tired no matter what. If you have that chronic inflammation stemming from the gut, it's going to impact your mitochondria. So if you remember from high school biology, these are the powerhouses of your cells that make energy for the body. So the energy currency of the body is called ATP. And if you have a lot of chronic, you're constipated all the time, you're not able to detox toxins from bacteria, toxins from food and beauty products and everything. Our world is very toxic. So if you're not efficiently doing that, and you're also not absorbing nutrients that you need for these mitochondria to function, they can't make energy for you. So that's going to lead to both brain fog. It's going to lead to probably things like muscle pain and cramping, chronic fatigue, all of the above, right? So what we really need to do is focus on the ability of our cells to do the work they need to do. So things that detox toxins, giving it the nutrients it needs, so vitamins and different cofactors. And when we do that and our absorption is optimized, then our cells can be optimized and our body can function optimally, including our brain. Now, the other thing I want to mention here, a lot of people that have chronic gut bacteria imbalances or dysbiosis have imbalances in other parts of the body. So one of those might be your sinuses. For me, part of my healing journey has been chronic sinusitis or sinus issues, a lot of stuffiness and inflammation. And I know now, especially when I notice, when I start doing a gut protocol, and oftentimes we do need to do several gut protocols throughout our life. These bacteria imbalances can be cyclical. So I do actually find that one of the symptoms for me when my gut's starting to get out of whack is I start getting stuffy. I'm stuffy all the time, especially if I have carbs or when I have carbs. And that's because I have some bacterial overgrowth in my sinuses and or yeast as well, which is quite common in people that have chronic gut issues. And so as I'm killing that bacteria systemically with my natural supplements, I'm going to be killing it in the sinuses as well. And you can obviously do things like neti pot and different saline sprays to help clear that as well. But when you have that inflammation in your sinuses, because it's so close and connected to the brain, that's going to affect your brain fog as well. And there's actually research showing that people that have chronic sinus issues are more likely to have brain fog. So this kind of brings me, when we're talking about fatigue, it brings me to sleep. People that have dysbiosis, gut bacteria issues, often have insomnia or some kind of sleep issue, whether it's falling asleep, staying asleep, or maybe you sleep throughout the night, then you wake up feeling unrefreshed. That is literally due to your gut bacteria. It can be due to many reasons, so histamine levels, whether it's producing enough of your neurotransmitters that affect sleep like GABA, melatonin production. So melatonin is made from serotonin, and serotonin production does happen partly, about 50% in the gut. So if all of these things are off, we're not going to be able to get a deep restorative sleep, and we're going to be tired, foggy, moody, we're going to have cravings, all of the above, right? It's all connected. The final thing is mental health. So again, we just talked about how sleep and all these other issues impact mental health, but we know that gut bacteria, yes, they do make some neurotransmitters like serotonin, but something I want to make clear is the serotonin, which is the happy hormone that is made in your gut, acts locally in the gut, more as like a prokinetic, so to keep your bowels moving. However, your gut bacteria do produce the building block of serotonin called 5-HTP, and that can enter circulation, cross into your brain, where we can make brain serotonin, which boosts our mood, right? So there's kind of indirect pathways, but your gut bacteria directly impacts your mood by making building blocks of happy hormones. Also by directly impacting your nervous system. So we think of the nervous system as the brain and the spinal cord, but part of your nervous system is actually in your gut, the enteric nervous system. There's also the vagus nerve that kind of wanders all throughout the body and connects the gut and the brain. And so any inflammation or bad bacteria in the gut is going to be sending bad signals to the brain, inflammatory signals, things, that things are not good and we should be on alert. And that actually contributes to mental health issues as well. So without throwing too much science at you or making this too long, I hope you found this really educational and eye-opening to understand that yes, obviously, when we think about gut issues, we're having gas and bloating and diarrhea, constipation, and food sensitivities. But these other common issues like chronic fatigue, mood imbalances, strong cravings, insomnia, and brain fog and weight loss or gain are really actually connected to your gut bacteria and your gut health in general. So if you are someone that is an Action taker and likes to get informed of the latest science, and you want to learn more about how you can heal your gut and at those root cause levels so you don't have to be on a strict diet forever, then I want you to join me inside the Fix Your Gut Formula. That is my signature program I've created. That is your gut healing roadmap. It walks you through step by step the steps you have to take and the factors we want to address of those root causes. And you'll learn exactly how to heal your gut without strict diets or tons of supplements. You're going to learn how to build a gut healing lifestyle. And it's all throughout my video course. You get access to that. This is all lifetime access. You get access to my supplement protocols that are specifically designed to help you depending on what you're dealing with. You get access to my gut-friendly recipe collections, including desserts. And also, you'll join me in my support group, the Fix Your Gut Collective. And then we've got a masterclass series, a masterclass library on your login page. So you get a login to my course on my website. You can check out the masterclass library where you get access to all kinds of videos and trainings that I've done in the past on things like heartburn and burnout and mental health, mindset. So mindset is huge in your gut healing journey, as well as a new library I've just added with my friend Lisa Brenner of meditations, breath work, and yoga to help you heal, because we know that the gut, the brain, and the nervous system are intimately connected. So I hope you join me inside the Fix Your Gut Formula. It truly is a very unique program that doesn't require you to have a super strict diet, allows you to live your life on your terms, boost your mood, your energy, metabolism, and finally get rid of the bloat, the pain, and all of the food sensitivities you've been dealing with. I'm super excited to dive into that with you. If you have any questions at all, or you're not sure if it's right for you, feel free to shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, or set up a free meet and greet session with me.